advice do you have for other CEOs that are looking to get started on this I-4O journey and maybe are feeling confused or anxious, unknowing of what to do next? I mean, all of the above take any fear response that they probably have. And you know, you probably feel it too sometimes. So what advice would you give them, Jack?
Yeah, and I've been doing this for about 40-year career now, and I would say this last 5 years is the most blinding technologically that I've ever seen. There is
Wow.
so much coming at us, and I totally agree with the concept of your question. If you're a small to mid-sized manufacturer, the SMEs of the world,
Yeah.
this can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. And it also feels like there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there selling you on technology that you may not need.
Right.
So I'm hugely sympathetic to this question. I just want to reinforce I love the question. So what I've summarized it for myself is that people just don't know what they don't know right now. There's so much, they just can't keep up and they can't learn that much. So when you're overwhelmed with that infamous massive amount of technology or massive amount of information in front of you, you have to go back to the basics. And the first basic of tackling any technological change is always start small. Do something. And I'll give you a great example of what we did here on our campus in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We have about a 60-acre campus, some nice buildings and some lawn around it. And we hire out to a lawn service and they mow the lawn. So, you know, we're talking 4 or 5 acres of lawn and trees and buildings, you know. So a nice complex little environment for a nice lawn maintenance company. They love it. Well, I thought about this a couple of years ago and I said, you know, if we're an automation company, we should mow our lawn with automation. So we purchased some robotic lawnmowers, put them out there, and we chose Husqvarna. They're a leading brand. They've been doing this for 20 years. 20 years they've been building these robotic lawnmowers. So it's not like we're on the bleeding edge.
Right.
So we implemented these lawnmowers. And now as our employees walk in and out every day of the building, they see these mowers doing their job. And they're reminded now of the future of automation.
Yeah.
And here's the amazing part of this story. We went to the lawn maintenance company, and these are a large local company. And we told him what we wanted to do. Now, there's some areas that he still shows up and has to ride his high-tech mowers and do some weed whacking and a few things. So he still has a contract.
Yeah.
But we said, hey, we don't really want to take the business from you. If you would like to buy the mowers, install them, and sell me the service at a lower cost, because
Wow.
I said, we'll let you do that. He studied it for a week or two, came back and said, no, you can buy them. I don't want to do it. So my point to that business owner is he's missing an opportunity, number one, a change in his business model, number two. If you ask him what his biggest problem is right now, he'd say hiring people.
Right.
Number three. And number four, he's got a long-term problem. If he doesn't embrace this technology, it may wipe him out.
Right.
So that one little story about us mowing our lawns with robots, to me, is what I would say to small and medium manufacturers to think about. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to jump in and start small. The payback on those mowers, by the way, and anybody can do it. You can do it at your home. If you're paying the service to do your work, is 1 year. It all paid back in 1 year, and now we're getting savings every year after.
Amazing.
So that's one. And then if you take it the other end, now that maybe it's a small manufacturer to think like robotic mowers. If you go to a medium-sized manufacturer, maybe with hundreds of employees and warehouse systems and all kinds of things. I was reflecting this morning about this call and this interview, and I thought about our warehouse. So, you know, in the US, we have close to 1,000 people on this campus. We move hundreds of millions of dollars of goods into our warehouse and out of our warehouse. About 14 years ago, that was all a manual process. Big 45,000 square foot warehouse, rack systems, people in carts running things around.
Right.
Semi-automation in certain spots helping out. But we went all in 14 years ago, rebuilt the whole thing, high bay automated storage and retrieval, high tech automated pick pack stations. You fast forward 14 years, we've spent in the tens of millions of dollars on that automation. But I did the computation about 14 years ago, we had about 50 people in that warehouse. Today, we would have 250 people in that warehouse. We are saving between $5 and $10 million a year, depending on how you do the math.
Yeah. Amazing.
And it's clear payback. I mean, it's about a 3-year payback on those investments with a phenomenal return over 10 years.
Yeah.
But you can imagine today I'm doing with about 70 people in that warehouse system what I would need hundreds more. I can't even do the calculation right, but it would be probably close to 300 people. And I wouldn't be able to get the people, Tom. I could not get the people in this environment that we're living in. So that's the other side of the equation. So we'll go from mowers that anybody can do with a snap of the finger to, if you're inclined, you can make massive investments in automated material handling systems, and it'll save you tons of money, and you'll just be light years ahead of your competition.